Alright, so this video is about 9 minutes because it's about cooperation. And I know nobody cares about Elden Ring videos that aren't invasions. So I'll keep it brief. But Night Rain is coming. In fact, this weekend is the network test, which I will be participating in. And you probably will be too. And there will be a lot of cooperation in Night Rain. Now, I don't know if Night Rain's going to be a contender long-term for me. I'm definitely going to play it. From Software has been nice to me, so I will be giving them my money, and I will be playing the game. But I want to talk about cooperation, since there'll be more of an emphasis on that with Night Rain, and while I do a lot of invasions in Elden Ring, I also do quite a lot of cooperation. So on the video here, my host is fighting the Fafnir in the Consecrated Snowfields, okay? And I'm playing as a dancer character I made because I like the aesthetic of the dancer, and this whole build is kind of a gimmick. I twirl. See, it's all health, dexterity, and endurance, and all I do is spin. See, I just spin, and I do damage, and I spin, and I look pretty while I spin. But we're killing them. It's happening. It's working. The host is staying alive. I haven't got hit. I don't think I get hit at all in this fight. And that's cooperation. You bring a good build, you present yourself well when they see your summon sign, and you hold your own. And that's what this video is about, is being a good cooperator. Because Night Rain is probably going to be harder, I would guess. I'm just guessing. I really don't know. But we'll find out in a couple days. But I'm guessing it's going to be harder. And because I do a lot of co-op, I see a lot of players, and I see a lot of bad hosts, and I see a lot of good hosts, and I see a lot of bad phantoms, or cooperators in Elden Ring. So here's something that happens sometimes. You are with a party, and an invader shows up, and then you get separated somehow through circumstances, or the team leaves you, and you're suddenly one-on-one with the invader, which is what the invader wants. The invader wants to separate him. Now, my silly dancing girl build can handle a mage. Okay, but sometimes it's hard to one-on-one the invader, I get it. But if you're going to be a good cooperator, this is one of the things I sort of feel like you have to just know how to do. The hardest thing a cooperator has to do is keep a bad host alive longer than 30 seconds. That's the hardest thing. You will see a lot of loading screens with bad hosts. The second hardest thing is to fight an invader. So if you don't want to invade or do the arena, you'll have a lot of practice. Now here's a character I made specifically for invading that I happened to bring into a cooperation one night. I just recorded this because it happened to be a long one. It happened to be one of those East Rampart Lindell summons that go all the way to the boss. I'm going to just let it play out while I talk for the rest of this video. But again, some of this doesn't necessarily pertain to what we're going to experience when we play Night Rain. But this summon sort of exemplifies the longevity of how I approach cooperation and how I approached it since Dark Souls and Demon Souls, rather. Where I wanted to present my character as best I can. This is pretty much a strength build, although I use a lot of crossbow, ballista. I think at one point I'll use the Cyclopean cannon shield. And I use punchy fists. Now Night Rain is going to be a little bit more limited with build variety. At least we think it is. I'm going to find out this weekend. But the same rules apply when it comes to survivability. I have a lot of tools here that I use. And a lot of that, when you're in an area like this, like Lindell or some of the other dungeons where you won't get flask refills on the regular, outside of field areas, you'll have to find ways to stay alive all through the area into the boss room and still have enough gas for the boss fight. And the capital is a pretty big area. I would say a lot of players who are new to the game will take a long time when they get to the capital. There's a lot of walls to overcome. Okay, there's some hard enemies at certain choke points that new players will usually die to. This spot right here with the knights is one of them. Most people will get dismantled before they get to the dragon wing. A lot of the times when I'm summoned at the beginning, this is where the quest ends. This is where I'm left standing over a dead host and possibly another phantom. But this crew is pretty good, so we get to actually fight everything, which is nice. So I can't say enough good things about Lindell as good co-op practice. It's also good practice for invasions, but that's another video. But for co-op, you could do a far sight worse than survive a whole run through the capital. And if you can do that, it's a pretty good crucible to see how good you are as a cooperator, I would say. Stormveil also is very good, and there's a few other areas of the game that are all good also. But this is really the part of the game, I would say, if you can get a host from the very beginning to the very end, you probably have a good cooperation mindset. Okay? You'll also get invaded a lot in Lindell just because of the sheer amount of time it takes to get through. I believe this summon had a couple of invaders at least, or at least I think I only have 2 on the recording. I might have cut some stuff. But we get through it for the most part. Spoiler alert. But it's just something to consider when you do a lot of co-op. And you'll see this as a host too. If you're a new player, you'll see the people that are able to hold their own, keep you alive, get you through the area. In a couple of days, we're going to know exactly how Night Rain feels. And yes, I am guessing on the difficulty. I can't imagine they're going to release a $40 Elden Ring side game based entirely on a challenge run, whether it's single player or co-op, and it'll be easier than Elden Ring main game. I can't see it. I don't know what to expect. I'm spitballing. I hope it's harder. I'll be honest. I actually hope it is harder. I feel like a game like that, it'll have longer legs if it's more challenging. So if you had a hard time co-oping in Elden Ring, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. But I do think if the people who are good at co-op and co-op a lot in Elden Ring will probably take to Night Rain a lot better. And at this point, I haven't even heard if we're actually going to get invasions in Night Rain. I believe we're not. But again, I don't know. We're going to find out. But let's assume it doesn't. Let's assume it doesn't have invasions, and the whole thing is going to be co-op. I'm going to close this video with just a quick aside about boss fights. You will be summoned for a lot of boss fights, obviously. This will probably be true for Night Rain. So no matter how your character looks, the host will not look at your silhouette. They will see your golden sign and summon you. So if you are a fire mage, they will summon you to fight the pro fire boss, which will probably take no damage from you. If you're a mage, you will be summoned to fight the mage enemy, okay? So have things available to deal with different bosses. Just be ready for it. It's going to happen a lot. It's going to happen in Night Rain. I'll see you in a network test maybe. So, yeah, take care. Thanks for watching a 9-minute video on cooperation.